Okay, I made a couple of adjustments before I started up. I've just moved my background into this group that I created that has the little knockoff, because I'm going to have to remove white in the end. Why have more white than I really need, you know? I'm going to leave it as a stroke though, again, just in case I need to do some adjustments. And we'll call this background. I've saved this as reduced fish graphic. We're going to come in and do some changes to this. So in the document here, I have recommended maybe trying posterize. The filter gallery artistic has cutout that has some great stuff, using hard mix and the fill opacity. You can use any techniques you want to explore as long as you reduce it down so it will look good afterwards. I'm going to start with posterize though and see how that works on this bluefish. Image, adjustments, posterize. So this just reduces it down to a set number of colors. So in this case, I can reduce it down to like 12 and it's still pretty good. And here it is. I don't need the smart filter right now. Before posterize, after posterize. And once we run this through the color halftone process, that's going to be fine. Any of those little lost details will be covered anyway. I kind of like that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the redfish. I'm going to put all of the text in one folder so that I can, whoops, group that, call it text, just so that I can have it in one place. All right, let's try the redfish. What if we use the hard mix on this? And so I'm going to make a brightness contrast dummy filter, and I'm going to do that by alt clicking. All right, and I don't need the mask there. Delete that. All right, so it's set to 0 and 0, so it's just a dummy. Nothing's going on there. And I'm going to set it to hard mix. Where are you, hard mix? Subtract difference, hard mix. So that's pretty drastic. So let's go ahead and mess with the fill opacity to pull that back. I think that works out pretty well. Actually, I think I like it better than the posterize. How would it look like over the posterize effect? Hold down Alt to copy it. Ugh, does not look as good on the bluefish, that's for sure. What if I knock down the fill opacity even further? Nope, I think I'll stick with posterize on that one. So I've reduced 2 of the fish. So let's try some of those artistic filters. So I'm going to go to filter gallery. And looks like I've got some stuff left over from a while ago. Get rid of those. Oh, wild, double glowing edges. Never thought of doing that before. It's pretty crazy. All right, artistic cutout. Probably more levels on cutout, so it looks more like a fish. Maybe less edge simplicity, so it follows along a little better, and a higher fidelity, so it follows a little bit closer. This really messed up my colors, so well, let's go ahead and tell it okay. Now, why would I okay it? Because as a smart filter, I can come in and do a different blending mode to it. For example, I could set it to multiply, or I could set it to screen. And it will reduce it, but not kill all the colors. I can also do something like luminosity if I want to leave all the colors alone, and then it will reduce it down, but I want it a little bit brighter, so I'm going to do screen. So that'll be my 2 fish and my 1 fish. And so that leaves, let's do another technique on the 1 fish. I'm just walking through a bunch of different ways. Feel free to explore your own. There's like a million ways to do this. Let's check out some more filters. Maybe we could do, oh, you know what? There is a blur for this, and that is called, which one are you? Surface blur, which will try to keep the edges intact, and we'll blur out the stuff between the edges. And so the edges are determined by the threshold, so I can tighten them in quite a bit, and the blur amount is determined by the radius. So I can have a really high blur, really high blur, like 66 pixels or something. And hopefully it won't kill my computer, thinking I should have saved. So let me do that real quick. Save. And we'll go in and filter blur, and we will use our surface blur. Get back to the fish. 15 radius seems pretty good. Let's do, or sorry, 15 radius. 15 threshold seems pretty good. Let's do a high pixel blur radius. Hear my computer chug away in the background. All right, let's play with the threshold real quick. If it's very low, as compared to if it's very high. So let's knock it down to maybe on the lower end. A little bit higher. There we go. Now again, I lost a lot of color, but it's a smart object, which means that I can come in here, and I don't need the filter right now. I can come in here and wait for it to calculate and change the blending mode. And again, probably something to lighten it would be good. I'm kind of digging screen. Might be a little too light though in this case. Let's just try lighten. Oh, I like that. That looks good. All right, so we've done different methods and we've reduced them. Now at this point, I need to bring it in to, you know what, let's try, I kind of want on this one, now that we've done all the surface blurring and everything, let's do a hard mix on that and see how that looks. Do a brightness contrast set to 0. It's just a dummy later. Don't even need the mask. Delete that thing. Set it to hard mix, which for some reason I always have problems remembering where it is. Create a clipping mask so it just affects the top layer. Knock down that fill opacity. Okay, before, after. There we go, much better. All right, now that we've got all that, it's time to make a flattened duplicate. Control-Shift-E, and we'll call this flattened duplicate. And this is the one that I'm going to be bringing over to do the halftone effects to. So I will do that in another video. See you in a minute. Oh, also, did I mention I rotated the fish a bit? I did. All right, I'll see you in the next video.